Hello everybody. In this session, we will discuss about hypertensive disorder during pregnancy. As we can see, preeclampsia and eclampsia is the second leading cause of maternal mortality globally and in India. 14% of maternal mortality are due to preeclampsia and eclampsia, and it can be prevented and managed by BP monitoring and examination of urine for proteins in all antenatal patients, and timely identification of danger sign and giving magnesium sulfate in all patients having severe preeclampsia and eclampsia. When we take the BP, if it is more than 140 by 90 millimeter of mercury before 20 weeks of gestation, then it is labeled as chronic hypertension. And if in chronic hypertension there is proteinuria also, then it is known as chronic hypertension superimposed preeclampsia. When the BP is 140 by 90 millimeter of mercury or more, taken at least twice 4 hours apart after 20 weeks of gestation without proteinuria, then it is pregnancy induced hypertension. And if the protein is present but it is less than 3 plus, means 2 plus or less than 2 plus, with BP 140 by 90 to 160 by 110 millimeter of mercury, then it is known as mild preeclampsia. And when the BP is more than 160 by 110 millimeter of mercury after 20 weeks of gestation with proteinuria of 3 plus or more than 3 plus, then it is called severe preeclampsia. In severe preeclampsia, there may be danger signs like severe headache, clouding of vision, pain in epigastrium, oliguria, hyperreflexia, and then these are the danger sign of eclampsia. When there is high BP with proteinuria and convulsions, then it is known as eclampsia. Eclampsia is characterized by hypertension, proteinuria, and convulsions. Convulsions may occur antepartum, intrapartum, and postpartum period. Preeclampsia and eclampsia are part of the same spectrum of disorder, with eclampsia being the severe form of the disease. Preeclampsia almost always precedes eclampsia. Some women may develop severe preeclampsia or eclampsia suddenly by passing all the stages, so high BP with proteinuria is always alarming. Status eclampticus refers to a state in which convulsions or eclamptic fit continue constantly one after the other. It is dangerous for both mother and fetus and can lead to maternal and fetal mortality. During pregnancy, डिपेंडेंट पार्ट में edema नॉर्मली मिल सकता है, बट पैथोलॉजिकल edema is present over the hands, face, front of legs, abdominal wall, vulva, sacral area. The normal weight gain is about 0.5 kg per week or 2 kg in a month. Occult edema manifests as excessive weight gain, means if the weight gain is more than 1 kg per week or more than 3 kg in a month, then it indicates edema. Stages of eclamptic fit. First is the premonitory stage. It lasts for 10 to 20 seconds. During this stage, eyes roll or stare. The muscles of the face and hands may twitch. and there is loss of consciousness. Second stage is tonic stage. It lasts for 10 to 20 seconds. In this stage, the muscle goes stiff or rigid. The diaphragm is in spasm so that the breathing stops and cyanosis occurs. The back may be arched, teeth are clenched, eyes bulge. Third is the clonic stage. It lasts for 1 to 2 minutes and marked by violent contraction and relaxation of the muscles, increased salivation causing frothing, deep noisy breathing, inhalation of the mucus or saliva may occur, face looks congested and swollen, tongue may be bitten by violent clenching of teeth and jaws. Coma stage lasts for several minutes to hours. During this time, there is a stage of deep unconsciousness. Breathing is noisy and rapid. Cyanosis fades, but the face remains congested and swollen. Further fits may occur before the woman regain consciousness. Effects of eclampsia on mother. Patient may develop asphyxia, aspirate, vomitus, pulmonary edema, bronchopneumonia. She may go into heart failure, cerebral hemorrhage, cerebral thrombosis, edema, acute renal failure, liver necrosis, HELLP syndrome. Hemorrhage due to coagulation defect means DIC. Visual problems may occur due to edema of the retina. Injuries, fracture and tongue bite. These are the effect on mother. Most common cause of maternal death in eclampsia are aspiration of vomitus, renal failure, intracerebral hemorrhage and multi-organ failure. Effect of eclampsia on fetus are placental insufficiency, which lead to hypoxia, and hypoxia lead to physical handicap, cerebral palsy and mental retardation, and IUGR, stillbirth may be the end result. How will you manage the PIH? In case of PIH, monitor blood pressure, urine examination for protein and fetal well-being. Fetal growth should be monitored. If blood pressure worsens, treat as mild preeclampsia. If there are signs of severe fetal growth restriction or fetal compromise, admit the woman in hospital for assessment. Counsel the woman and family about the danger sign of the eclampsia and preeclampsia like severe headache, epigastric pain, diminution of vision, oligouria, and convulsions. Role of antihypertensive drugs in case of preeclampsia and eclampsia. Antihypertensive drug as per GOI protocol should be given when the blood pressure, diastolic blood pressure is more than 100 millimeter of mercury. Alpha dopa or tablet labetalol can be used for controlling blood pressure. Target should be to maintain diastolic BP between 90 to 100 millimeter of mercury. In case of severe preeclampsia, use of tablet nifedipine or injection labetalol is recommended for initial control of blood pressure. Antihypertensive drug which we are using, methyl dopa, dose is 250 to maximum dose 2000 milligram. Contraindications are hepatic disorder, psychosis and CCF. Adverse reactions of methyl dopa are postural hypotension, positive Coombs, hemolytic anemia, sedation, lethargy, decreased GFR and decreased FHS. Labetalol can be given in 100 milligram BD. Maximum can be given 2.4 milligram per day. Contraindications are hepatic disease. Atenolol should be avoided in pregnancy because it increases uteroplacental resistance, fetal bradycardia, IUGR, and hypoglycemia. Nifedipine 10 mg BD to 60 mg per day. It causes tachycardia, edema, flushing of face, hypotension, and myocardial depression. ACE inhibitor should not be given above 16 weeks because it causes congestive cardiac failure, CVS, CNS malformation, and fetal renal tubular dysplasia. Management of mild preeclampsia when the gestational age is less than 37 weeks. Close monitoring of blood pressure, urine for protein reflexes, and fetal condition. Patient and her family member should be counseled for the dangerous signs of eclampsia like severe headache, diminution of vision, epigastric pain, and oliguria. Encourage additional period of rest, means 8 घंटे रात को सोना, 2 घंटे दिन में आराम करने के अलावा भी उसको रेस्ट की आवश्यकता है. Encourage the woman to eat normal balanced diet. If the blood pressure is more than 100 millimeter of mercury, diastolic pressure is, then we should add antihypertensive drug. Sedatives and tranquilizers should not be given. If patient outdoor में नहीं आ सकती है follow up के लिए, then we should admit the patient in hospital for observation. Again in hospital, we should provide normal diet. BP monitoring should be done twice daily, and urine for protein should be examined daily. Do not give antihypertensive if the diastolic blood pressure is less than 100 millimeter of mercury. Diuretic should not be given. If the diastolic blood pressure decreases to normal, we can send the patient to home and follow-up should be done. If signs remains unchanged, then keep the patient in hospital. If there are signs of fetal growth retardation, consider early childbirth. If urine protein level increases, then managed as severe preeclampsia. Management of mild preeclampsia if the gestational age is more than 37 weeks of pregnancy, and if there are signs of fetal compromise like IUGR, fetal distress, then assess the cervix and expedite childbirth. Agar cervix favorable hai, then we should rupture the membrane with cocker or amniotic hook and induce the labor using either by oxytocin or prostaglandin. But if the cervix is unfavorable, then ripe the cervix with prostaglandin or Foley's catheter, or deliver by cesarean section if there are other indication for cesarean section like CPD, abnormal presentation. Management of severe preeclampsia. Severe preeclampsia means when the diastolic blood pressure is more than 110, proteinuria 3+ or more than 3+ with danger signs like epigastric tenderness, headache, diminution of vision, exaggerated knee jerk, oliguria, then we should treat severe preeclampsia and eclampsia, both immediately hospitalize the patient. Our target is to maintain the blood pressure, diastolic blood pressure below 100 but not below 90 millimeter of mercury. Start IV fluids at the rate of 75 ml per hour. Maintain intake output chart. Start magnesium sulfate catheterize bladder to monitor urine output and proteinuria. Never leave the patient alone. Observe vital signs and reflexes. Fetal heart rate should be monitored every hour. Auscultate lungs for craps. If crepitations are present, then give furosemide 40 mg and perform bedside clotting test. सीवियर प्री-एक्लेम्पसिया का जो चार्ट है गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया के द्वारा दिया गया है, वो हम फ्लो चार्ट में भी देख सकते हैं. Management of eclampsia. Shout for the help, mobilize the personnel for help, evaluate the women condition including vital organs. If not breathing, check the airway and intubate if required. If the patient is unconscious, check airway temperature. Position her on her left side. Give anticonvulsive drugs. Drug of choice is magnesium sulfate. Oxygen 4 to 6 liters per minute. Protect woman from injury, but do not restrain her. Place woman on left side after convulsion. Aspirate mouth and throat if necessary. Magnesium sulfate. Loading dose of magnesium sulfate given at A&M and staff nurse level. Total 10 grams, 5 gram magnesium sulfate, deep intramuscular in each buttock. Patient should reach FRU in 2 hours for further management. Loading dose at MO level, total 14 grams, 4 gram means 8 ml of 50% magnesium sulfate to be diluted with 12 ml normal saline or distilled water in 20 ml syringe and give slowly IV in 5 to 10 minutes. 5 gram magnesium sulfate means 10 ml magnesium sulfate injection with 1 ml 2% lignocaine deep intramuscular in each buttock. And before adding lignocaine sensitivity is to be done. If recurrent fits occurs after 30 minutes of loading dose, repeat magnesium sulfate 20%, 2 gram, slowly IV over 5 minutes. Magnesium sulfate का मेंटेनेंस डोज के लिए हमको याद रखना है 4, 5, 6, 4 hourly, 5 gram and 6 doses. 6 doses means we should continue treatment with magnesium sulfate for 24 hours after childbirth or after the last convulsion, whichever occurs last. And before giving magnesium sulfate injection, ensure that the respiratory rate is above 16 breaths per minute, patellar reflexes are present, urine output is more than 100 ml in 4 hours. Magnesium sulfate toxicity. Withhold magnesium sulfate temporarily if patellar reflex are absent, urine output is less than 100 ml in 4 hours. But if the respiratory rate is below 16 breath per minute, then give immediately antidose, that is calcium gluconate 10 ml 10% in 10 minutes IV slowly. In case of respiratory arrest, assist ventilation by bag and mask or ventilator if available. Magnesium sulfate is a safe drug to use. Government of India recommends use of magnesium sulfate by nurses in cases of severe pre-eclampsia and eclampsia. First dose to be given by nurses, 5 gram intramuscular in each buttocks, total 10 gram to be given. Magnesium sulfate is a very safe drug and can be easily used with monitoring of toxicity signs. Even in case where any sign of toxicity is seen, generally withholding the next dose is sufficient to address it. Antidote may only be needed in case of respiratory toxicity, which is very rare at the usual recommended dose with close monitoring. Give antidose injection calcium gluconate 10 ml 10% in 10 minutes slow IV for respiratory toxicity. Assess the cervix. If the cervix is favorable, rupture the membrane with amniotic hook or Cocker's clamp, induce labor using oxytocin or plus prostaglandin. Refer for cesarean section if vaginal delivery is not anticipated within 12 hours for eclampsia or 24 hours for severe preeclampsia. Fetal heart rate is less than 100 beats per minute or more than 180 beats per minute. Cervix is not favorable or any other indication for cesarean section like abnormal presentation, CPD or previous cesarean section. Now comes the postpartum care. Anticonvulsive therapy should be maintained for 24 hours after childbirth or last convulsion, whichever occurs last. Continue antihypertensive therapy as long as the diastolic blood pressure is 110 millimeter of mercury or more. Continue to monitor urine output. When should we refer the patient to tertiary level? If there is oliguria that persists for 48 hours after childbirth, if there is coagulation failure, persistence coma lasting more than 24 hours after convulsion, then we should refer the patient to tertiary center. Now the chronic hypertension means if the blood pressure is more than 140 by 90 millimeter of mercury before 20 weeks of pregnancy, then encourage additional rest. Whether she is using medication for lowering the blood pressure, if woman was on antihypertensive drug before pregnancy and disease is well controlled, continue the same medication if acceptable in pregnancy. Atenolol and ACE inhibitors are not recommended. Drug of first choice is methyl dopa followed by labetalol. Calcium channel blockers may be used if required if diastolic blood pressure is 100 millimeter of mercury or more, or systolic blood pressure is more than 160 millimeter of mercury, then treat with antihypertensive drugs. If proteinuria and other signs and symptoms are present, consider superimposed preeclampsia and managed as mild preeclampsia. Monitor fetal growth and condition. If there are no complications, deliver at term. If preeclampsia is developed, manage as mild preeclampsia or severe preeclampsia. If there are fetal heart rate abnormality, suspect fetal distress. If fetal growth restriction is severe and pregnancy dating is accurate, assess the cervix and consider childbirth. Again, if the cervix is favorable, rupture the membrane and induce the labor. If cervix is unfavorable, ripen the cervix and observe for complications. Calcium supplementation for prevention of preeclampsia and eclampsia. WHO recommends calcium supplementation for prevention of preeclampsia and eclampsia in population whose diets are deficient in calcium. Government of India recommendations are every woman would be given calcium supplementation for 6 months during antenatal period after first trimester and for 6 months during lactation. 2 calcium tablets would be given daily. Each tablet shall contain 500 milligram elemental calcium and 250 international unit vitamin D3 to be implemented at all levels of contact of the pregnant woman with the health system. Key messages: pre-eclampsia and eclampsia is the major killer, deaths from which can be prevented through proper antenatal checkups, and if this happens, can be managed with timely administration of injection magnesium sulfate. Proper nursing care and timely injection of magnesium sulfate administration is the key in management of eclampsia cases. Magnesium sulfate is safe drug for mother and can be given without hesitation. Toxicity of magnesium sulfate is very rare. At sub-center, ANM can safely give first dose of 5 grams deep intramuscular on each buttock and refer to higher facility for further management. Thank you.